Today I have another Throwback Thursday for y'all, and it's kind of a mixed bag here. I am going to focus on Blue Velvet, but I also talk a little bit about the original Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1. I'll just fold that in, but it is a Blue Velvet talk and another or the second in this series of Throwback Thursdays. So let's get into it. What's up, physical media fans? I have Blue Velvet here on DVD. Until recently, I had a copy on Laserdisc, but that got bought in my eBay store. The link is in the description. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this movie, Blue Velvet, and I will touch on Metal Gear Solid 1, the original Metal Gear Solid from Hideo Kojima. So Blue Velvet is a David Lynch film from the mid-'80s, 1986, I believe, starring Kyle MacLachlan, Laura Dern, Dennis Hopper, Dean Stockwell is in it, Jack Nance makes an appearance. So we have, some big names now in film, but David Lynch was coming off of kind of a failure in Dune, or at least a critical failure in Dune, and pulling his name off of it, and the troubles that came with that, and he was having some trouble getting his next project financed, and apparently Dino De Laurentiis, a big producer, especially in genre films, picked up his script and funded this project, Blue Velvet. So Blue Velvet is labeled as a neo-noir, and I can definitely see it. We have a protagonist that is, often beat up and goes through a lot of twists and turns in the story. And, in the noir tradition, he's not just some Rambo running through all the bad guys and whatever. So what this movie shows is the just rotten underbelly of a suburban town. This, I believe, takes place in North Carolina. It's in a town called Lumberton, which, Twin Peaks is a lumber town, so I don't know if Lynch picked that title knowing that Twin Peaks would be coming down the road. But Kyle MacLachlan stars as Jeffrey. He's supposed to be a college kid, a young man who's coming home after his dad has a medical event. And Sally is an old friend. Laura Dern's character is named Sandy. She's an old friend whose dad is a detective, which is important to the story. So as MacLachlan, as Jeffrey is walking through an empty lot, he finds a piece of severed ear, and he turns it into the police, and later on asks Sandy if she can find out any more about what happened with this severed ear that he found. And she says that she heard her dad saying that there is a local nightclub singer who is somehow connected to this severed ear. And that local nightclub singer is Isabella Rossellini, and an amazing performance as Dorothy here, the nightclub singer, the kind of troubled woman who I'll get into why she's troubled in a minute. But apparently before this film, Isabella Rossellini was known more as a model and a makeup spokesperson or cosmetics spokesperson. But this movie really proved that she had the chops to do some legitimate acting. Through the story, the twists and turns, I'm not going to go through the whole story. I don't want it to be a spoiler, but rest assured this movie is brilliant. It's amazing. It's one of David Lynch's best, and that's saying a lot because he's made a lot of great films. But Dorothy, Isabella Rossellini's character, is kind of kept enslaved, especially sexual slavery, by Dennis Hopper's character Frank, who is bonkers bananas. Like his scenery chewing is so epic. It's amazing. So Dennis Hopper plays a madman, drug dealer, gangster type who has kidnapped Isabella Rossellini's character, Dorothy's husband and son. So she pretty much has to do what he says, and the ear is apparently a warning. If she doesn't do what he says, he's going to cut off more of her husband's body parts, right? So he is just amazing to watch as this character. He's huffing some kind of gas that might be nitrous oxide, but he's not really laughing. He's more like enraged and crying, screaming, laughing a little bit. There's a mix of things in there. So Kyle MacLachlan inserts himself into this investigation. He's very curious. He's a smart young man. He, gets into Dorothy's apartment and ends up getting found out. And Frank, the gangster, ends up finding out that he's messing around with Dorothy and does not take that lightly. So things go south for our hero, Jeffrey. And in true noir fashion, he does take a lot of licks before he gets, to the end and figures out the whole scheme, right? At some point, Frank takes Jeffrey to Dean Stockwell's apartment, who plays a character named Ben. I'm not really sure what his role is, or I don't remember what it is. He's some weirdo. He's got pancake makeup on, his face is all white, and he has some makeup on, and he sings the Sandman. It's a song from the 60s, not Mr. Sandman, the candy colored clown they call the Sandman, right? And that's Roy Orbison. I could not think of his name. So he lip syncs this Roy Orbison song into a work light, one of those light bulbs on a handle that has the cord down here, usually has a cage there. And it's so weird and creepy, and Frank is crying. It's so strange. And at some point, they end up out in kind of an abandoned sawmill or something where Frank is attacking Dorothy again. Jeffrey steps in and really gets knocked out, beat up, maybe sexually assaulted. It's implied that he was sexually assaulted, but he ends up walking home battered and bruised because of this. And during that scene, Dennis Hopper has this diatribe that is just off the wall, bonkers, and he's saying, "I'll send you a love letter." Do you know what an effing love letter is? It's a effing bullet from a effing gun, right? He's swearing like crazy. I'm going to try to keep it PG-13, but he is just red-faced, and he's getting angrier and angrier and saying this stuff to Jeffrey, Kyle MacLachlan's character. And it's just so good. It's so amazing and so skin-crawlingly creepy and weird. It's amazing. Now, I mentioned that I was going to talk about Metal Gear Solid 1. Hideo Kojima has said that he is a big fan of David Lynch. He's a big fan of David Lynch's storytelling. And that is very evident in Metal Gear Solid 1, where at some point you have a face-off with a sniper called Sniper Wolf, and she can communicate with you through some, called a codex. It's some like in-ear communication device. And she says, word for word, minus the swear words, or maybe there's some light swearing in it, but it wasn't in this, all the F words weren't in this one. She says word for word that Dennis Hopper monologue diatribe where he's saying, "Do you know what a love letter is?" And she's saying, "I'll send you a love letter to Solid Snake," the protagonist of Metal Gear Solid. And then when I played that game the first time, I was so elated. It got so giddy about, like, I know this reference, and it's to an amazing movie. It's to Blue Velvet. So the name of the movie, we have Isabella Rossellini singing in a nightclub at some point, and she sings Blue Velvet. So this is a song that is from the 50s, where Tony Bennett had a hit with it. He did really well. And then in the 60s, again, it went to #1 with Bobby Vinton. So the title of the movie is from the song, and Isabella Rossellini sings it in the movie. But it is such a superb exploration of the seedy underbelly of a seemingly idyllic suburban setting, and it is David Lynch's. It is one of his greatest films. I do love David Lynch's films, but maybe it's my favorite of his films. It's definitely up there, top 2, top 3. But I highly recommend it. So if you haven't seen Blue Velvet from the 80s, it's so good. It holds up so well as just a messed up piece of cinema, and it gets in your head, it gets under your skin. And apparently when it came out, it was met with some mixed reviews, a mixed reception, and some people were like, oh, it's over the top, and it's, trashy, and it's, smut or whatever. And some people saw the art of it. Like, not only is it, yes, it is smut, but it's showing that this smut is the undercurrent in what is polite society. And this is probably, maybe not to this degree, but happening all around the country in these suburban places where it seems like everybody's waving at each other. Hi, they go to church on Sundays or whatever, but there are some dark secrets underneath the surface. It has since come to be known as a cult classic. I think it came into its own, especially when it came out on video, on VHS, and then DVD later. But there were some people who understood the artistic integrity, the artistic merit of it when it came out, because David Lynch was nominated for Best Director that year for the Oscars for this, and he won a Film Critics or Screen Actors Guild, I can't remember, award for Best Picture. So there were some people that recognized it, and I know that when I saw it, I was pretty young, and I just thought, this is so wild and so weird and so cool. And I thought, that really was such a subversive piece of bright suburban cinema that I fell in love with it right away. And I've seen it so many times since. It's such a good movie. Highly recommended. But that's it for Throwback Thursday. That's it for today. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. But you will see me next time I post. Thanks.